Okay, so tonight I'm kind of gonna cover a big issue that happens to a lot of people, and you need to be aware and just be cautious everywhere you go. Um, I'm gonna talk about online predators. Like, these child molesters are like blackmailing young children into performing sexual acts in the comfort of their own homes on webcams, or just, tricking them into coming and meeting them. Yet 100% of the children molested by internet sexual predators went willingly to a meeting. They may have thought they were meeting some cute 14-year-old boy or girl, but they knew they didn't know the real person in real life. So, you never know. And statistics say that 1 in 4 U.S. teen girls reported that they met strangers off the internet. 1 in 7 boys admitted they did as well. While most of these internet friends turn out to be another teen or preteen or whatever the case is, that's not always the case. Unfortunately, children are now dying at the hands of internet child molesters. And not all sexual exploitation of children occurs offline. So you just have to be really careful. It's just so sad. You just can't give out any information that you wouldn't be willing to give out to some 40-year-old guy you didn't know. If you post videos or just on your About Me section, you gotta be really careful. Don't tell your age, or, this is basic stuff, but so many kids just, think it can't happen to them, and then it does, and then there's nothing they can do with it, and they have to live with that memory the rest of their lives, and it's heartbreaking. And I think that, it's just kids should be more aware than they think they're aware, but no. And now here's a question: is your child a potential victim? Probably. Few are exempt. Most internet-related victims fall into few general categories. They live in suburbia or rural towns. They typically are between the ages of 11 and 15-year-old. They're either very sheltered and naive, or willing to take very serious risks and playing at being sophisticated. They tend to be loners and may not have offline friends, so they feel like they have to meet people online. And some are just tricked or conned into a meeting, and generally boys are either tricked or curious about interesting and exploring homosexuality, and girls tend to believe that they are in love and will marry the predator someday, and many believe that they are communicating with someone around their own age, at least initially, usually, unless, the person is truthful. But yeah. Go over each of these questions yourself and ask yourself this. Then talk to your kid if you have one, and does your kid fit the profile of a typical internet-related sexual victim? The young teen from Connecticut didn't, so even if these don't fit your child, you still need to be vigilant. So here's one of the questions. It says, does your child spend an inordinate amount of time online every day? More than 1.5 hours a day of fun, not homework. Time online is dividing the line between children who tend to engage in high risk of online activities, such as meeting strangers offline, engaging in cybersex, sharing personal information online, and sending photos of themselves to strangers online. And here's another question: do they have lots of online friends, or are they loners? Generally, children who have been lured by sexual predators online are loners, and they don't really have a large circle of offline friends. Like I said before, they feel like they're more important if they have more friends online. Are your kids or kid between the ages of 11 and 15 years old? The exact age these risks begin is determined by when they are permitted to go places without accounting precisely for their time This may include going to the mall, the park, or amusement park unattended. Usually by the time they're 16 years old, they aren't as susceptible of being lured because they're a little bit smarter sometimes, but sometimes not. Another question, do you shelter your kids, or are you particularly risky in their behavior? Like, the typical victim tends to fall into the extremes of this range of behavior. They're either very sheltered and easy to con, when the predator will promise to marry them and love them ever after, like generally the guise of a cute teenage boy or girl. Or they will use the internet to act out their risky behavior, and such is the case with the Connecticut teenager. There you go. Do they have a relatively balanced life with lots of activities offline, including sports, music, reading, all that kind of stuff? Are they secretive about their online activities? When you walk in the room, do they be like, oh, do you find that the screen goes blank when they walk by? If so, it's not a technical problem. Your child doesn't want you seeing what they're doing. It's a good time to stop and ask them what they're doing. Where do they surf? Do they have an instant messaging account? Most do, and if so, their buddy or notify list that send them messages to. Have they set up any privacy or security settings to block strangers from instant messaging them or emailing them, or not? What about text messaging on their cell phones? Or away messages that list their cell phone numbers? Google your child and learn how to do that. Do that at, it's called internetsuperheroes.org. But yeah, there's so many questions, but this one's a really good one, I think. It says, is your child distracted? Has their behavior suddenly changed for some reason? Have they become more secretive? I know it's hard telling this from a normal teenager behavior, of course, because we're kind of into ourselves, but what about their friends? Have they pulled away from them recently? Have their friends changed? Has something changed that you just can't put your finger on? You just need to trust your gut and talk to your kids about this. This is really important. If you don't, then there's always, even if you do, there's always a risk. But they just need to be very aware. And I'm still kind of a kid, but I still think that I need to be more aware, and so do other kids of all ages, so if some guy asks you to give you information, don't do it. That's crazy. But just be safe online. Bye.